Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, Self Engineer K, and we've got loads of really cool stuff to go through today. We've got a license leak that was announced on Twitter. We've got the new drop that's confirmed for this Thursday as well. It's going to be a new type of drop. I want to go through quite a lot of content covered by Reese today as well, because we now have more clarity on a lot of the questions that were being asked. And kudos to Reese for constantly having to put up with the repetitive questions as well. We also had the unlock of the founder tokens, and as always, like I said, I knew I was going to be right. There was going to be no dump by the founders on the 9th or the 10th or whenever the tokens unlocked. There was a lot of volatility in the price today, and I do want to cover that as well. But a lot of people sat there, they were convinced, oh no, the price dipped, the founders just dumped the tokens, without realizing that, the contract addresses are right there in front of them. But I will explain that more in detail. And I also want to go through the exchange listing. So it is now confirmed that we have 4 new exchanges coming. Ideally, at least one of those is coming very, very soon this month. And I just want to share a bit more clarity on that as well. So without further ado, we'll go straight into it. Now, on Twitter, this was announced today as well. Chris Newworth, he basically was doing a little bit of digging around on LinkedIn, and he found someone who was connected to David Yount, and this was someone's profile. So you can kind of add, your job description here. And they had this: Ecomi is the leading curator and marketplace for licensed blockchain based non-fungible token collectibles. Licenses include DC, MLB, Major League Baseball, NFL, Cartoon Network, and more. So they've leaked one that hasn't officially been announced yet, and they did change this description a little bit after. So apparently, after we noticed this, he updated his profile and removed his references to MLB and NFL. Oh, okay, yeah, NFL, because we have NFLPA, but NFL wasn't confirmed. So Major League Baseball and NFL standalone. So that's really, really interesting. Major League Baseball, for those who aren't aware, it is actually already trading as an NFT on Wax. But Tops, they okay, now this is really important. They went public with a valuation of 1.3 billion. That alone is higher than Ecomi's current valuation. Like, that is one thing to take into consideration. Now they're going with the standard kind of baseball card type of NFTs, which they are cool. But as Reese said as well in previous interviews, there's a limit to what you can do with a static image. There's limited functionality, limited use case utility. Whereas what I think Ecomi will do is similar to what they're doing with NFLPA, is actual, 3D high quality sculptures of the different players, and there'll be interaction with the players, things you can do with them, kind of just building upon Ecomi as a platform. So I reckon they're going to take huge amounts of market share away from Tops. People see this and be like, okay, there's a card, and then there's an interactive, model that you can play with, do things within AR, VR, and it can interact with other collectibles as well. It's a no-brainer which one people are going to go for. So I think it's good that Major League Baseball has already been released on another platform, because this gives us something to kind of evaluate how much revenue it can add to Ecomi. And on that point, I did also want to touch on another point with LinkedIn, on David using LinkedIn. So I did have a look around, see if I could find anything else on LinkedIn, but I never really pointed this out. But if you have a look at David Yu's interests on LinkedIn, he's following quite a few people. But if you look at the companies he's following, so Sony Pictures Entertainment, we know that they have Sony. Walt Disney Company, now there are very, very obvious hints to some kind of Disney partnership or licensing. We constantly see Marvel everywhere. EA, that would be an interesting one. Universal, so we know we've got Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. Warner Brothers, we know we have that as well. Nintendo, nothing about that. Louis Vuitton, nothing about luxury brands really. Konami, now they have someone from Konami on their board of advisors, so that's interesting. And we know that David Yu was a licensed distributor for Konami as well. Riot Games, that's interesting. We had BC Trevor from Riot Games join Ecomi quite recently. CBS, we know we've got that, so that's all the Star Trek stuff. Capcom, we know we've got that. That's Monster Hunter, Street Fighter. And boom, the one that everyone is talking about, Pokemon Company. And let's see, are there any other interesting ones? He likes blockchain. Niantic, that's interesting because I have spoken that VeVe will have kind of similar features to Niantic in terms of the whole kind of geolocation based events. So I think that's going to be pretty cool. Bingy is David Yu's other company, which does payments. And then Ecomi, Orbis. Okay, so in terms of the companies that he's interested in on LinkedIn, a lot of them do match up with who they have licenses with, and some that people are speculating. So I think that is pretty cool. Um, Now, I do want to hop straight into Telegram. So, firstly, I messaged Reese in the Telegram group. I said to him, "Hey, mate, had a quick one. If you could share, no worries. If not, firstly, how are you keeping yourself sane with all the repetitive questions that can be Googled in 30 seconds? People need to stop doing that. Seriously, it's like they keep asking the exact same basic questions, which can be easily found on Google. Secondly, are you able to comment regarding bonus burn rate events? So he did have an interview with Taps, and he mentioned something about 5x, 10x burn rate events." Um, and he did respond. So on the first one, he said, he's been part of this community for 3.5 years, so he's gotten used to the repetitive questions. And he said, yeah, bonus burn rates have definitely been discussed in the team. He's not going to commit and say it will happen on a specific day, but it's an option available to all of us for sure. So we've gotten confirmation because I did ask him because some people thought it was a joke, but if we get even a 10x or let's say even a 5x burn rate, right? If we have just one drop in a week where they decide to do a 5x burn rate event, that's equivalent to 5 drops simultaneously. And we know that every month they've been doing, over a billion burn of OMI tokens. So that one drop would burn over a billion OMI if they decide to do it as a 5x event. And 1 billion OMI in just one drop, when they're having, the marketplace burning OMI, they're going to have, additional events burning OMI, blind boxes, all sorts of stuff. That's going to add up quite fast. And we'll be burning, like easily 10 billion OMI a month. And across a year, that's 120 billion. People don't understand the power of, the compounding effect that this is going to have. And all of a sudden, once the kind of controversial projects start to die out due to legislations, Ecomi is just going to grow even more. Now, on that point of growth, I did also want to touch on one thing with that David you shared. So we do have a drop coming up this week. It's a new type of collectible. It's going to have something special. And when I did ask him on his Instagram, he dropped a Star Trek hint. So I said it might be something Star Trek, and that's going to have like a special feature to it. I don't know what, but it's always fun to speculate. But we do have our drop confirmed for this Thursday. We don't know what it is yet, though. Now, this is another point that I really, really want to talk about. So people keep pushing, Reese and the team to hurry things up. They keep missing deadlines. And what they don't realize is most of the time, pretty much all the time, what needs to be done on the Ecomi side is done. It's, the licensors have to go through rigorous due diligence checks. It is in their park. And it's down to them to have the final sign off. And if they have delays, just because they're busy, they're massive companies, then obviously you're going to have delays in VeVe. So, he said that, he's just reiterated they're not in the seat of power. The fact that they have the license in the first place is what's going to help VeVe to explode. Now, I really, really want to clarify one point, and this is something that I've been quite outspoken about, is cryptocurrency as a whole, there is no barrier to entry to cryptocurrency. This is why you get so much FUD in the space, because you don't need to have any knowledge of crypto to contribute your opinion to it or buy crypto to it, for that matter of fact. So just imagine if there was no barrier to entry to, I don't know, driving a car. Anyone could just hop in a car and drive it. You don't need a license. You don't need to pass a theory test. Just imagine how chaotic that would be. So you get all these people who don't understand the basics of crypto. Firstly, they don't understand how businesses work. They don't understand what an NDA is. They don't understand, what a licensor is. They don't even understand who, like, the addresses, the wallets that belong to these founders. They just assume, if the price dropped, it is a founder. They can't be bothered to look at it. Probably not even because they can't be bothered to look at, the founder wallets. It's just they don't even know what that is. So you have all these people that are really, really ignorant to everything, and they're just plugging in their opinion every chance they get, that every chance that they can get. So this is a problem with crypto as a whole that I found, and this is partly why I try and push out these videos, because some people might be listening to this FUD and they might not know as much, at the moment, in the moment. So I'm just trying to share as much unbiased information with you guys as possible. Now, moving on from that, we did also have another update. So with regards to the reserve, we are going to have buyback starting in the next few months. That's when all of these all of this burn OMI, 10% of whatever is being burnt is going to be used towards buyback. So we're going to be getting buybacks from the exchanges, and that is going to be quite a lot of OMI we're buying back. So expect to see spikes in the price on that day. I assume people will probably buy beforehand. If they announce the buyback time, I reckon people will buy beforehand and try and sell on the buyback. So there might be a bit of a pullback, but we'll see what happens. At least we know that Ecomi, because they're one of the few projects in the crypto space that actually makes money. If you look at all of the projects that are pumping right now, Dogecoin, the Shiba Inu one, Safe Moon, Safe Mars, Safe Tesla, all of these ones, they're not actually generating any revenue. It's literally you buy it and you hold it and you hope that more people buy it and then you sell. That's not what OMI's doing. OMI's got two ways to make money. Either they could go the normal route where people just buy and hold, or even if people aren't buying OMI will still be removed from circulation as long as people are buying the NFTs, and that is not going to slow down anytime soon. That is completely decoupled from the crypto space, so that is something else to take into consideration, because OMI, I've made a video previously where I said OMI is bulletproof. Whether the crypto market goes into a bear market or not, it doesn't matter. People will still continue to buy NFTs because they're completely decoupled. They're free from institutional manipulation as well. You won't have people from Wall Street sat there buying resale Batmans. It's just not a thing. Whereas they will sit there and they will manipulate the prices of various different cryptocurrencies and altcoins. So that is something very, very important to take into consideration. Okay, now the next one. This is a really, really big one. So we already had confirmed in the previous AMA that Reese did with Taps Trades that we have 3 to 4 new exchanges coming in the next couple of months. That is confirmed. Now, I want to stress this point because a lot of people keep going on about, they lied about exchange listings. Where's the exchange listings? When Binance, etc. It's a two-way or two-person conversation. A conversation with Ecomi, conversation with the exchange. Now, Ecomi's done everything on their side. It's the exchanges that they're waiting for. And the reason why they're waiting for exchanges, and Reese just confirmed this today, is there are two ways to get listed on an exchange, okay? The first way is you can pay the exchange to list you. In that case, you are paying for that service. You can make the demands, and that's exactly what a lot of these altcoins have done. For example, Shiba Inu, that new coin, I'm pretty confident that they paid to be listed. The second way is you don't pay and you get voted in. Now, if you go that route, because it's completely free, because you are being listed by the exchange, you have less of a position to make demands because they are listing you for free. You kind of communicate and compromise on when that listing is going to be done. Now, because that's not earning any initial capital for the exchange right away, then that would probably get less priority than the projects that are paying to be listed. So what that confirmed to me is, because they have 4 new exchange listings and because they're not paying for them, that shows me that Ecomi, in the eyes of these exchanges, is a project that is good enough, that it has the reputation, it passes their checks firstly, and I'll touch on that in a second, and that is a very, very bullish sign for me. The fact that they don't need to pay the exchanges to get listed, and it's four exchanges, which is pretty good. So as soon as everything is finalized on the side of the exchanges, I think we're good to go. Now, on that point, what I also want to touch on is the exchange listing. So I did speak out about KuCoin previously, and they go through the full process where they review the project, and they said that there are 2 ways to get listed. You either pay or you go through a kind of voting process. So this is one exchange where I think they will get listed on, but another one that people in the community have highlighted is Reese and Dan on Clubhouse. They're following the guys that are part of Huobi Exchange, and that made me interested because then I started looking at it. What you need to get listed, and this is very, very interesting. And I think everyone should pay attention to this. So Huobi, you need to demonstrate practical technology in real application for your project. Ecomi has that 100%. It's a high demanded and well maintained by community or team in various fields such as technology, marketing, application development. Literally, Ecomi hits all of that easily. White paper and all of that stuff is done. That's fine. Meet the regulated requirements without compliance with this. Now, this is a huge one. A lot of projects are not going to be hitting this, especially as legislation tightens. A lot of projects are going to have to get delisted from these exchanges. Ecomi is not going to be one of them. And then other requirements are specified. Now, there is a policy for removal. The project team dismissed. Firstly, you are not going to get a dismissal of the Ecomi's team because look at these guys. They have a track record that spans decades. They don't have any kind of shady track record. The project's facing significant legal issues. Again, Ecomi is fully covered in terms of the legalities. They're not going to be one of these scammy coins that faces problems with the SEC, for example. Operation team of project request for removal. Okay, so they can request to be removed. Technical or security issues not to be solved by deadlines. Okay, lack of liquidity. Now, this is really important. If the daily trading volume is less than $100,000 in 30 consecutive days, they will delist you. Today, just today, in 5 minutes, we had $70 million of trading volume. There was one candle, a 5-minute candle where we saw $70 million of trading volume. Now, that to me tells me that there is huge interest in OMI. And they want just $100,000 a day. Ecomi does this in about a minute, let alone a day. And then selective value relevant information, blah, blah, blah. So fraud, the Ecomi is not going to be doing fraud. Forking, I don't think that's an issue. And any other matters that do not meet requirements. Okay, so Ecomi is going to get, I think, all the evidence is pointing there that Ecomi will be listed on exchanges and it's not going to get delisted. They won't have any issues. Because we know what happens when, it's good that coins get listed, but they also need to protect themselves as well, since they can go straight back down to, the very bottom if they encounter legal issues. Now, on that point, what I also wanted to touch on is we had some updates with regards to moving chains, and Dan Crovers, he did confirm that the migration is ready, so they will be moving chains soon. And someone asked a question about manual burning, and this is quite interesting because we said that there may be some manual burnings. What we said there could be with a smiley face. And we might see some fun few changes when we move chains. Have to see what happens. Now, I did see previously as well that Reese mentioned we could see some manual burning during that kind of migration phase as well. So I think when we move chains, we may see some kind of adjustment to maybe the burn rate of OMI, or the adjustment to the supply. Maybe they could do a manual buyback. I'm not sure, but there could be some change to the circulating supply just to add some more value and reward the people who have stuck through with OMI this whole time. So I think that is pretty cool. Now, on that point of sticking with OMI, a lot of people have been claiming that the founders of OMI have been dumping their tokens. So this is something that I wanted to highlight. Now, this is all public information. If we zoom in and bring this down. So these are all the contract addresses for the wallets held by OMI's founders. We can see that there are 3 dates here. Monday the 10th, where these are the 3 contracts where OMI tokens unlock. And you can see here, 7.5 billion, 7.5 billion, 3.75 billion. That comes up to 18.75 billion. That is the total amount that has been unlocked today. You can access these addresses on GoChain Explorer, see these for yourselves. You will see that there is absolutely 0 tokens that they have sold. They have not sold a single OMI token, even though they could have, but they haven't. Okay, so here's an example. This is one of the addresses, so the tokens. So let's see, it should say how much or transactions. Oh yeah, here we go. So 3.75 billion OMI sent from this address, where it's locked up by a smart contract to this address. If you have a look at this address, we can see, they've got all their OMI transactions that was all processed, and currently they have 0 transactions. So you can see transactions here, token transfers. They've received their tokens and they haven't sold any. Tokens held 3.75 billion, and it's the same for all the other ones as well. All of the founders, none of them have sold anything. If they do sell, it's going to be a very, very small fraction. It will literally just be to pay for their food and whatnot. These guys, they will not dump because they value the project. They know what's coming. So if they do, as they sell, it will be in very small fractions. People who run successful companies, especially those who have run successful companies in the past, David Yu, for example, they don't do that. David Yu still has 100% ownership of his other companies, such as Games R Us. If it was someone who did want to, pump and dump, they would have sold their first company. They wouldn't have, waited for so long and then decided, oh yeah, I've built up all these licenses, I've got all these great partnerships. I'm now going to dump at like the very bottom of the price. Like, it just makes no sense. So that's another thing I just wanted to highlight. Now, on the point of prices, we will jump straight into our daily price analysis because OMI has been seeing some interesting plays today. So if we just zoom in. Now, normally I don't cover short time frames, but I think it's worth having a look at the 5-minute chart as well. And if we zoom out a bit. Okay, so OMI right now, if we draw a nice trend line, we'll pick a different color. We'll pick a bright green. Okay. Now, OMI does look bullish. Initially, I was seeing it follow this trend here. It did break down below, came down below the support, but now it's come back up again. It is still around that range. It was kind of sat around 0.5 for the most of the day, but what we saw was pretty crazy. So we wicked above my resistance, which I didn't think we were going to break until later on. And then we wicked above it again. And we literally saw, OMI just bouncing around all day. We were up here at 0.56. We came down here to 0.33. And then we were back up here, to like 0.58. And now we're back here to 0.47. OMI's just been everywhere today. But it is important to note that I was correct in what I said, that the founders would not dump. The people who did dump, it was a mixture of some whales and a lot of people who can't, they don't know how to do analysis. They saw that there was a price dump and then they sold, and then that triggered some more stop losses, and then it just cascaded all the way down. We saw, again, nearly 300 million, what's that, like $270 million worth of trading volume on that 5-minute candle. Which is ridiculous. And if we move to the hourly chart, so yeah, you can kind of see it is kind of within this zone, but it's just been extremely volatile. So if we go to the 4-hour chart, it should be a little bit better. Okay, so this is better. We can see we're just hanging around, chilling on this support here. I believe we are still looking bullish though. We can see that we've made higher lows. So once we get this new drop, once we get the new exchange listings done, because those are confirmed, we're just waiting for the exchanges themselves to sort it out. Once they officially announce, Major League Baseball, NFL, all these great things, and once we start to enter a bit more of a bear market, that's when Ecomi is going to do well. Because like I said before, Ecomi has two ways of having their token appreciate in value. One is where people buy the token. That is where we may start to suffer a bit as we enter a bear market. But secondly is the sale of NFTs, and that is completely decoupled to crypto. So that is where people are going to realize, hey, Ecomi is doing well whilst we're in an altcoin bear market, and they're also a legit project. They haven't been shut down by the SEC. This is a pretty good place to, keep my holdings. So that's something to take into consideration as well moving forwards. Now, that's pretty much everything I wanted to go through with you guys today. Quite a lot of stuff, but there is a lot of stuff that's going to be happening in the next few days, next few weeks, and within this month and next month as well. So this is the time to really, keep your eyes peeled. And as we said, a lot of people are shaken out of the market through, external market forces. They don't understand what they're investing in. They just kind of follow the hype. So really, it's important to just understand what it is that you're investing in, understand the project, understand, what market they're trying to capture, how much market share, how much the industry is going to grow, understand who the competitors are, understand, what is the project trying to achieve and how are they going to achieve it. It's much, much more valuable and much, much more, you know, it's just a better way of approaching an investment as opposed to just constantly saying, why is the price up? Why is the price down? Like, you're not going to achieve anything up that, and you're not going to learn anything either. So I just wanted to make that super clear. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. Please do like and subscribe to support the content. I'll keep you guys updated with more stuff that I find out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.